Hello, dear ones. I am Eleonora from the channel The Awakening Path, and I'm here today with another special guest. And just to remind you, the purpose of me bringing those guests to you, you'll probably realize that they are all psychic, is for you to understand that all humans, we come with the ability to develop our psychic abilities. And many of us, one point in time, we were just like you, living our 8 to 5 job, not paying much attention in what we were thinking, how we were feeling. And suddenly something happened and it's, oh, where I am, why I'm doing this, where I came from, what I'm doing here. And the guest that I have here today with you, his name is Lee Osborne, and he is a great source. He's able to connect straight to source. That's an ability, as I want to emphasize again, each one of us is able to do. And we do through many different ways. In case of Lee, it's through his intuition, and he'll talk more about. And if you have personal question for Lee that you would like the universe to answer to you through him, you are welcome to leave on the chat. Now, please welcome Lee Osborne. Welcome to my channel, Lee. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you, Eleanor. The pleasure's all mine.
And as I always start, I like people telling their story. How suddenly they decided to step out of the box and start realizing who they truly are and connected to their higher self. How that happened to you?
Well, I read a lot when I was younger. We did not have television in our house until I was probably 13 or so. And I liked reading the Knights of the Round Table and the science fiction of the time and all that. And I always really identified with the wizard, the warlock, the wise woman, the the person that lived alone in the woods. I thought, ooh, how cool would that be? Except that, well, they all had to go through some loss. They had some physical loss. They had some disability. They had some illness. And who wants to do that
Yeah.
just to, become awakened or whatever? So, so the best place to start is at the beginning, I guess. I was born in a small lumber town in far northern California that some of you may have heard of. It's Mount Shasta. Um, so I was born there, and in those days, right smacky dab in the middle of the last century. So, yeah, I've been a few trips around the sun, And in those days, women were kept in the hospital because, you are delicate creatures. Um, at least I thought so in those days. Kept in the hospital for 7 to 10 days, but after 3 days, my mom had had enough, and we were going home. It's the end of November. It's the first part of December. It's a howling snowstorm. The highway was closed, and she called my dad and said, "Come get me." And he just said, "I can't. The road's closed." I said, "Well, get a hold of, our landlord, who happened to be the chief of police in town. Come get me." So they chained up his police car, and I came home from the hospital in the chief of police's police car when I was 3 days old. Yeah. So having been born there in Mount Shasta, a very, very magical place, I always felt that there was something other than what I was seeing and hearing. But again, I grew up in a railroad town south of Mount Shasta. It was lumbering. It was fairly conservative. we didn't have internet or any of those sorts of things. So you kind of stayed on the down low. And I really didn't begin to develop myself until, like, hey, it was 1992, so 30 some, what was that, 30 some years later, almost 40 years later. Um, so when I went to work for the police department, I transferred over to Truckee. I was working for the sheriff's office. And meanwhile, what had happened was in the summer, the late summer before I was getting ready to start college in my sophomore year, um, my girlfriend took her own life. Very, very
Um,
tragic. But there was no counseling. There was none of that sort of stuff, especially in those small towns in those days. So we fast forward. I mean, I'm working for the sheriff's office in Truckee, and I met my first wife there. And on our first wedding anniversary, she was diagnosed with colon cancer. So we went through, geez, over a year, surgery and chemotherapy and all these sorts of things, and thought we had it beat. It came back, and it was multi-systemic, and so I became her caregiver for the last weeks and months of her life. The most difficult thing I have ever done in my life, ever. I did not think I could do it, but I did. And that was the thing. That was the whack for me with the cosmic two by four. That what I was doing and the way I was living my life just really wasn't working for me because it, the big lesson I learned is that control is an illusion. And no matter how much I
mm,
thought, I got a badge, I got a gun, they give me this fancy car with all the lights and stuff, and I can drive it really fast, and I can master your fate and I can captain your soul like nobody. Except that you really cannot control what another human being is going to do. And so I learned that. I really learned it the hard way. And it was a couple of years after that, in 1992, I was in Mount Shasta. I still had family that lived in the area. And here's the thing, poster on the wall, transform your life, weekend workshop in Mount Shasta. Now, understand, I was not into this woo stuff. Oh, no, 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 no. I had a dear friend of mine who was working on herself spiritually, learning to read auras and meditate and do all that sort of stuff, along with a couple of other women. And she would talk to me about that. Now, she was the woo-woo part, and I was the voice
mhm.
of reason, see? Because because hey, this coffee cup is real. Well, guess what, folks, it isn't. It's all illusion. So I took that workshop, and it was very, very transformative. It was so powerful for me that I had no idea what was going on. So that I went back. That was in June. I went back in October and took another one from the same woman. Um, and I studied with her for a while. That led me to, in the middle of the following year, '93, I came out of a drug task force assignment. I took 6 weeks off and drove to Nevada City every day. And for 6 weeks and became a massage therapist right in the middle of my law enforcement career. And studied at that school for probably another 4 years, developing myself and developing my spiritual gifts and doing deeper meditation and things like that. And the thing that I found is that, um, hey, we all have these gifts. Some of us are different, you know. Some people talk to trees, some people talk to birds, some people see fairies. Those are not my gifts, but I can tune in to source. I can tune into people's team of guides and angels and give them guidance and help them see the world in a little different way. So that was really what led me to that was like, remember what I talked about? Who wants to do this icky stuff and go through these horrible things in order to be awakened? Well, not me.
You're so decided that because
But I'm not sure that I had.
yeah,
Well, I did have a choice. The experiences were set up. The experiences are set up for us before we come into this life. But my choice was I going to pay attention or not? Was
yeah,
I going to take that step? Because let me tell you, drive 100 miles an hour to a gunfight. I'm your Huckleberry. You know, run as fast as I can to a bar fight. Yeah, pick me. Be, because I knew how to do that. Step off and begin to do like stuff that I can't, meditate and work on myself and all that. Scary, scary, scary stuff,
yes.
you know. But I persevered, and that led me to where I am now. I've been retired for 18 years, so I've been doing spiritual and healing work for over 30 years.
That's very, very beautiful and inspirational. And you that are listening right now, if a police officer can become a psychic and connect to the universe, what is stopping you? That's a question for you to ask yourself. If you are starting to get interest, if there is that question in the back of your mind or that desire to do something, you just need to follow your intuition. I think to start, would you like to ask the universe a message from people that are watching this live or it will come up later? A message that will help them in the place where they are at this moment.
What I will sure I've got this really what I do is I use cards. I use angel cards, I use oracle cards, I use and I'm really getting into tarot. But I've got this deck called Angel Affirmations, and it's from Radley Valentine, a really wonderful guy. I just finished taking a class from him in Denver, and so here's the first card that pops up. It says, "I am deserving of vibrant health. I honor my body, and my body honors me. I am deserving of vibrant health. I honor my body, and my body honors me." So health is a matter of our attitude, as within, so without. And so if we're feeling poorly, if we're referring to ourselves like, oh, I have a bad back, I have a bad knee. No, your body hears that. Your body hears whether you want it to be healthy or not. And the message on the back from Archangel Raphael is, with my emerald green rays of light, I can bring your body and soul back into alignment for optimal health and balance. With my emerald green rays of light, I can bring your body and soul back into alignment for optimal health and balance. Because really, if we think about it, disease is just dis-ease. We're not at ease. We're not at ease with ourselves, with our environment, with our body, with the things that we're putting into it. So um, there's a uh, there's a message for you, folks, all about health. And in this time of great turmoil, right? It's really easy to doom scroll and to become anxious and about all these sorts of things. So how do we disconnect? Just disconnect.
And one thing that's important to have in mind right now, diseases is our body is not alive or dead, and each cell knows exactly what to do. The only thing you need to do is allow the universal love and life energy to flow through your body. But through life, we create blockages. And who are those blockages? They are limited beliefs that carries a vibration lower than 200. That's courage. There are feelings, emotions connected to hate, fear, anxiety, and so on. When you don't process those emotions, it stay in your body, in your subconscious somehow. And suddenly, many things are coming up to the surface because the energy of the planet is rising to a point where only the vibration of love will be sustained. So any emotion, any energy that's in your body that's not in the love vibration, that's lower than the love vibration, will start to manifest. And sometimes manifest in events and many times in diseases. And that's why many people are suddenly feeling some health issues, and then they go straight to a pill or to this and that. I'm not saying not to go, but the root cause are your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs. And that's where many times look for the help of a person like Lee, that will help you understand what is the root of the cause. And it's not Lee saying, and his cards are not magic. It's his connection to your higher self, your guides, the universe, that through the cards, that's just a tool, a visual tool to help him catch up with the energy and deliver to you in a way that you can understand. That's what's really helping us at this moment to really break free from that matrix of keep doing the same thing over and over again, even though it's not working. Thank you, Lee. Do you have another card in that same subject?
Yes, I do. And this is from the Messenger Oracle by Ravine Philly. Now she's got two really great decks. This one's called the Messenger and the other's called the Seeker Oracle.
It's beautiful.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. And she does all of her own artwork. And this one is, and it's just look, you can't make this stuff up, okay? You just really can't. And you cannot stack the deck against the universe. It's balance your energy. Balance your energy. And look at this wonderful, wonderful cat,
Yeah.
see, who's just staring at you. I mean, if there are creatures that are more graceful and more balanced than cats, I'm not quite sure what they are. You know, swans are really graceful, but in terms of balancing and balancing on little beams and things like that, and and if you really look, you know, these gorgeous emerald green eyes from this cat is looking with a little concern. So balance your energy. And this goes back to talking about I am deserving of vibrant health. Um, I'm deserving of vibrant health. Well, one of the things, as Eleonora was saying, if the energy is out of balance in our body, then we're going to be all out of sorts. We're going to be out of the rhythm of life. We're going to be uh, out of our vibration, and um, it will manifest itself either in anxiety
it,
or
it's so in alignment with what I'm hearing from so many channels. We are in a spiritual battle, And the battle is for your vibration. You need to be very diligent and be very purpose in wanting to feel good, to keep your vibration high, to let it go of that resentment and really forgive yourself first and forgive others, and keep a high vibration be really your priority, because the high vibration is where lies your abundance, your health, and your happiness, of course. And that's completely in alignment with what we just said.
Well, yes, and it's also in balance means uh, your your
Or
work
excuse
life
me.
your work life balance. Are you too busy doing stuff that you don't have time for yourself or your children or your friends or your family? Are things distracting you? You know, in one lodge that I used to belong to, we taught the day is 24 hours, but it's divided into three parts, you know. It's one part's for work, the other 8 hours are for rest and refreshment, and the other 8 hours for sleep. So are we working too much that we're not having time for ourselves? That we're not taking that 5 minutes, that 10 minutes, that 15 minutes to enjoy our beverage, to do our meditation, to just sit and think. Because, you know, we've all heard we've all heard that you can't pour more water out of an empty glass.
Yes,
And this is also part of balancing your energy, making sure that we're not giving so much away to others that we don't have any for ourselves. But it's also true that you can't pour more water into a full glass.
that's true.
So if we're not working on those things that don't serve us any longer, and blessing them and letting them go, you know, and transmuting that energy, then we can't open ourselves up for the abundance and the new things that are ours by right and are going to come into our life. So we're talking about balance. And the thing about it is we have to practice this stuff, you know. If you know how to ride a bicycle and you don't ride your bicycle for 10 years, well, it's going to be a little awkward the next time you get on the bicycle. You'll pick it up. But
Yeah.
we have to practice this and practice this and practice this. And when the things come up and we go, oh, I'm spending too much time, it's like, okay, get down on yourself. You're not doing it wrong. We're not
Mm.
making any mistakes here, folks. Everybody's having their own experience. It's like, oh, okay, I need to back off. I need to learn the shortest sentence in the English language, and that's no.
Yes,
And learn how to exercise that. And you know, and it's really coming true for me because I mean, I've got my wife and I we've got a lot of clutter that's built up over the years, and so it's time now. The message I've really been getting, it's time now to clear that clutter out. Get rid of the clothes that don't fit, get rid of the things that aren't serving us, the physical things, because as without, so within. Because there's a lot of things, there are other things. It's constant, it's a constant. What isn't serving me anymore? What beliefs aren't serving me anymore? What behaviors aren't serving me anymore that I can transmute and open up for whatever the new is coming in.
that's true. And everything has energy. People really don't think that get keep the clutter on their closet has nothing to do with their messy life. They really think there is no connection, but everything that's connected to you holds energy and have influence in your life. For the littlest detail to a bigger thing, it's all connected and everything has energy. But if you want to start with something, start with the one that's easier for you. If it's to clean up your closet, so do it. If it's to clean up your mental, stop your chatting mind, so meditate. Doesn't have special formula. You really need to do the work, and sooner you start, the better. But it's never late. And doesn't have one recipe to fit all either. Each one will have that one way that you don't need to find for yourself, because there is like at least more than 100 light beings in the other side just to help you keep you alive. And they are all waiting. Oh, I think you're gonna hear me now. Let's see. Oh, let's send him to Lee or to somebody else. I have a message he's not getting. And that message can come from many, many different ways. Dreams, a sign in the wall, like you just found one, you found one years ago.
Mhm.
And they are very creative. You just need to be open. And the way to be open is really stop to be busy, because when you are too busy on the survival mode, you don't even have time to think because you're always or working or exhausted.
Well, yes, and let me say this, a lot of folks don't start because it's like, oh my God, I can't. So what I talk about and what I try and show you is if you change your thoughts, you can change your actions and change your life. And you talked about this when we started the podcast. See,
Yes.
if you go, oh, I can't, because there's a sports adage that says those who think they can and those who think they can't are both right. Okay, I can't. Well, oh, wait a minute. Well, let's change that. Change it just a little bit. Oh, I don't know how. Oh, okay. See how just that little change, I can't from I don't know how changes our thinking. Oh, I don't know how to do that yet. So I don't know how means I can learn. I can't means I just physically can't. Well, there are some things that I can't do. Uh, for instance, I can't start as a middle linebacker in the National Football League. I'm too small and I'm too old. Okay, so all right. But in terms of our spiritual growth, in terms of making these little bitty changes, and all we have to do is make the small change. It just comes incrementally, small, small, small. And it's not too late. It's never too late. It doesn't matter. This we're not in a competition, we're not in a race here. And let me quote you from that early 21st century philosopher and NFL Hall of Fame linebacker, Ray Lewis. What does yesterday have for you? Nothing. Nothing. And tomorrow is too far away. So all we have is right now. That's all we have is right now. Yeah, we have memories and we have our lessons and we have our things that we learned from the past, but there's nothing else back there. We can't go back. See? And
Yes.
and I had never thought about this until I heard him say this. And he's trying to motivate some fellow players. Tomorrow is too far away. It never comes. There's always tomorrow. So all we have is today. So what am I going to do today? What am I going to do in this moment? And that's another one of the lessons that I learned, that I really learned. As the years have gone past, it's I mean, my My dear wife has been gone from this plane for 35 years. But the deeper and deeper I dig into this, the more and more of the lesson that I get out of it. Because there were times when it would be like, the folks in the recovery community say one day at a time. Okay. Well, let me get through this day, but it would be like, no, let me get through this next 10 minutes. Let me get through this next 1 minute. If I can
Yeah.
do this next 1 minute, it'll all be good. And so I've really come to see that how that really focused me down into the eternal moment of now, you know, because things were it was like I can't focus on what's going to be happening 5 minutes from now. I have to focus on this care right now.
Yes.
So that made me a better officer and a better administrator. It's made me a better person. And occasionally, when I forget, there'll be a little pop quiz. Angels are angels, and the guides and all are really good at that. It's like, hey, we'll just we just want to gently nudge you back here onto the path.
You must be muzzled. Yes.
So,
And that's why the present is called present because the gift. And every time, the only time you suffer is when your mind is in the past or in the future. Bring your mind to the past, they give you depression, suffering, sadness, and worry about the future give you anxiety, stress. And if you just think, oh, I have so many problems in my life, okay, write it down. The ones you have to take care the next 10 minutes. How many you can write down for the next 10 minutes? And really, that's the only ones you have to take care in the next 10 minutes. So why use all your energy? Again, bring down your vibration with things that you don't have to take care at this moment, and you have no power over it. Our thoughts are really our best asset.
oh,
Yes.
well, yeah, it was Mark Twain who said back in the 1800s, I've had many troubles in my life, most of which never happened.
Yes, that's true. Lee, since I have you here, I don't know what's going on right now in the world, but there is so many people worried about money. Oh, where the money go? I don't have enough money for this and that. What the universe wants to tell us about not only money, about abundance, because many people think of abundance just as money, but when they think of that, they already disregard all other sorts of abundance. Health is abundance, relationship is abundance. There is many other things that are abundance. Abundance is not summarized just into money. What the universe has to tell us about money, abundance.
Money is just energy. That's all. It's a representation of energy. So we come into this world to be of service. So, and it is my path to be of service. It's in my star chart. And so the first part of my life, I was of service while going through college fighting forest fires, then as a full-time peace officer, and now as a reader and a teacher and a psychic. So when I provide the service to you, the energy exchange is the money that you give me. It was the money that I was paid. because I worked for government, the taxpayers pay into that, and in return they get these services. So it's just energy, and it's the same with all abundance, as you were saying. Abundance is not just limited to dollars and cents. It's in our relationship, it's in our friends, it's in where we live, our right abode, our right livelihood. Are we doing the work that we love and that has meaning for us? In the car we drive, in the clothes that we wear, and everything else that we see. And all that is energy. And as we learn in school, energy is infinite. It cannot be created, it cannot be destroyed. It's infinite. It can only be transmuted. Okay. And because it's infinite, there is more than enough for all of us. The reason that we think that there isn't enough is because we're taught that there isn't. Oh, you have to work hard. Got to work hard. If you don't work, you must earn your daily bread. Well, who made up that rule? Somebody who wants you to work for them so they can pay you a pittance. See, the money abundance in all its form is limitless. All we have to do is stop limiting our thoughts. See, that there isn't enough because there is enough, that there is no such thing as a national debt. Had that discussion with my brother-in-law on Easter, and he doesn't believe me. He says, well, trillions of dollars. I said, the national debt is a myth. There is no such thing. We are living here, if you are here in the United States of America, the richest country that's ever existed on the face of the earth historically, period. So, So why don't we all have the things that we need? Food, clothing, shelter, and all that sort of stuff, because we have been led to believe that if we don't do certain things, we are not worthy. We're not worthy. Other people are not worthy. So look, folks, open yourself up. Stop directing traffic. Don't say, well, this has to happen, that has to happen, Billy has to do that, Joni has to go over here. I have to get this job. That has to align. That's directing traffic, and that's blocking you from the miracle. That's blocking you from the abundance that's yours by right as a human being here. We are not slicing up pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving here. Okay. If you come from the Christian tradition, or have done any studying in that, there is a parable of the loaves and fishes. Jesus is talking to people and they're getting a little hangry, and the disciples are going, hey, JC, these folks need to be fed or we're in trouble. And he just says, okay, well, feed them. He goes, well, we got like what, a couple of three loaves of bread and a few fish. I mean, come on, we can't feed all these people. Jesus said, yeah, there's enough. There's plenty. There's plenty. Didn't ask to see your passport, didn't ask to see your green card, didn't care where you were living, didn't care what you did if you had a gold-plated Mercedes chariot or were just walking, didn't care. They just fed everybody there, and there was enough. And this is the lesson here, is there is enough. And why was there enough? Because Jesus knew that there was enough. He knew that this was just energy. And the disciples, they had the blocks. Well, wait a minute. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. We need a whole bunch more fish. He's like, no, 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 no. There's going to be enough. There's more than enough for all of us. We just have to open ourselves up for the miracles and understand that we deserve this. We're supposed to be living in abundance on this life, on this planet. This is what we're designed to do. The lessons that we're here to learn, we're to learn as painlessly as possible, and live our lives, live our best lives as easily as we possibly can. You know, I'm retired. I've been retired 18 years. I'm on a fixed income. If I start feeling, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, well, guess what? I don't have any money left in my bank account by the end of the month. if I'm in gratitude, my wife and I talk about this, if I'm in gratitude for all the things that I have and for the abundance that's mine that has come to me, guess what? I have money left over at the end of the month. What's changed? My bills? No, they're constant, you know? It's the attitude of gratitude. And once we start to change that around, then money's going to come. That's and your right livelihood's going to come, and your right relationship is going to come, and it's going to come effortlessly. And we're not in competition here, see? And here's the other part of that too, is when somebody offers you, say, yes, thank you. You're not taking away from
Yes.
someone else. Sometimes you are meant to be the one to get that job, to get that promotion, to get that lottery was however it comes, it's meant for you. And by stepping back, you're depriving yourself and you're putting somebody else in a position that it's not their turn uh, energetically yet. So that's what the universe wants us to know. It's just energy and it's infinite.
Yes. Another thing is right now, everybody wants to know what is their life purpose. Thanks to the pandemic, that was terrible. But if there was one good thing that happened was people could finally stop to hurry all the time, to be busy all the time, and have a time to realize, oops, is that working for me? Is there another way? Is there another way? That's the question that many people keep asking. And after they say, yes, there is another way. Why I'm here in the first place? People want to know their life's purpose. Before they didn't have enough time because they were just trying to survive. But because everybody has to step their foot on the brake, now they become self-aware and they start to ask questions. And many people right now, they're asking, what is my life purpose? Can you pull us some card from the universe and ask if there is any guidance on how to align with the life's purpose?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. See, what folks found is that if they could work from home and do the same job, they're happier and their productivity went up because they're not spending their life on the highway crowded in with a whole bunch of other people. They can work at their pace. Now, why does everybody want to come back to the job? That's that control thing. I want my little minions where I can see them. Um, and when I became, as I worked on myself more, I started to become aware of what was my job. What was my job? My job was to draw the boundaries and see that the people that worked for me had the tools to do their job and then let them go and do it. Are they going to do things the same way I'm doing it? No. Because see, we're all each a being as vast as a cosmos. We cannot possibly be understood by another. We're living our own experience. Now, this to get your true life purpose, I would recommend getting an astrological reading from somebody who's really good. It can be Vedic astrology, which is Eastern or Western astrology, and the stars will show you what's in your life purpose. If you know somebody who does palmistry, and I don't, that will show you what your overall general life purpose is. But how are we going to change this? Well, there's a couple of things, and one of those is weave your reality. Don't weave my reality, weave your reality. Because remember, we were talking about the eternal moment of now. And so what do you see here? We've got the spider here, and she's weaving her web, and but you've got the dodecahedron uh, that she's weaving there with the all-seeing eye. And each different type of spider weaves a different web. But here's the thing: if the web is destroyed or she has to move on, she weaves another one, it's going to look very different. The pattern may be the same, but it's not exactly. It's like no two snowflakes are alike. So you want to weave and create your own reality. Now, what's our life purpose? Overall, our life purpose is to come down here on this planet and to learn some lessons so that our soul grows and so that the vibration lifts, and to be of service to one another, be of service to the planet and be of service to one another. Now, what does that look like? Well, for everybody, it's different. For everybody, it's different. For some people, it's screwing nuts on bolts. But see, if that's what you're doing, is you're in an assembly line or doing something like that, you can put all your love and the intention that the person to whom for the thing that you're building is going to really enjoy it. If you're repairing stuff, if you're building houses or whatever, you know. I mean, my guy that did a lot of work on my house before he moved, I mean, he really cared about his clients and he cared that he did the best job, and you could see it in the workmanship. So how you are going to be of service is written in your stars. But what we are here for is we're here to weave our own reality, different from somebody else's. Be yourself because everybody else is taken, and be of that service to other people. And it can just be the little things. Say thank you. Say thank you to the grocery clerk, the person who put the bags in, to put your groceries in the bag. Hold the door for somebody. If somebody's racing to get that parking spot, let them have it. What the hell? Um, it, If they cut you off in traffic, you can bless them with a salute, with however many fingers you want, but don't let them live, but don't let them live in your head. Hey, they've got their troubles aren't mine. You know, if somebody needs some money, give them a couple of bucks or $1, you know. I, I was walking down the street in Truckee. I was working at the time. I was a young deputy sheriff, and just we'd have to do some patrol around and make sure that nobody's breaking into the businesses and stuff. And this young woman comes up and she says, "I need $1 for gas." Well, we had a program. She said, "I don't want that. I'm trying to get home to the Bay Area. I'm driving a Volkswagen. I just need $1." So I reached in my pocket and I pulled out. I had $2 in my pocket. That was it. And it was about 3 days till payday. I had like a couple of bucks, maybe five in my checking account or whatever. And I just gave this young woman those $2 and said, you're gonna gas is expensive. You need more than $1 worth of gas. Make sure you get home to your dad. So a couple, 3 days later, I come to work and there's a card in my mailbox, no return address, said thank you, and stapled to it was a $5 bill. This is how, and I was not anywhere near self-aware in those days. But see, this is how fast this stuff comes back to you.
Yes.
You know, we don't have any judgment over whether whether they're homeless, whether they have mental health issues, whether they're addicted, whatever. Everybody needs a little help now and then, and realize and recognize If I take $1 out of my pocket and I give it to somebody, that's not my dollar anymore. That's theirs to do with whatever they want. I, I don't I don't really care. You know, I would hope that they would feed their dog or get a sandwich and not buy drugs or alcohol with it, but that's not my choice. See, my choice is to help that person out with that energy exchange or not. But the more that we can do these little things to be of service, the easier our life is. So weave your own reality here. Start being the person that you want to be. And because as within, so without. So the more love that you are putting out into the world, the more you're loving yourself, the more love goes out in the world, and the more loving people are attracted to you. And don't worry, you know, I, my brother-in-law does not see the world the same way I do. That's okay. I've come to accept that, and life is really easy.
Lee, do you have time for one more question?
I do. Yeah, yeah, we're getting close, but yes, I do.
Mhm. Actually, I'm so pleased with Robert Kenneth Jr. being the health secretary and somebody really look into the silent pandemic that we are living with our children, that every year more kids become autistic, and some are in a spectrum that they can function, but unfortunately some they are not function, they can't go to the bathroom by themselves. My heart goes to their moms. There are some that are high function and very intelligent, and there is a variety of range. Everybody is experienced in a different way. But I would like the universe to give a message to the family of those children. I know everything has a purpose. I'm not saying that we should not look into and try to fix the problem and help those kids as much as we can. But if it's happened, it's because the universe, God, the source, whoever you believe, thought that that experience would bring something positive for your life and the life of everybody involved. What the universe has to tell for those families, especially the mother.
Know your labels. Know your labels. Okay. Not only what you say, but what are other people saying about you. If you know your labels, then you know how to deal with it. Okay. So we get this raven, but he's got an open heart here and has the chakra colors all down through the tail. So um the thing about that is to know who you really truly are, who your children really truly are. So here's the thing with autism. I know people, and I know people who have children who are truly on the spectrum.
Actually, I have one.
Yes. And so we're bringing more and more and more awareness to this issue and more acceptance of where they fit into society. Now, but understand too, somebody put a meme on Facebook that showed sales of organic food and um, diagnosis of autism, and those arcs are almost exactly the same.
Mm.
Correlation does not equal causation. Does that mean that if you feed your kid organic food, they're going to be autistic? No, it doesn't. And I think that I think that some of this is mission creep. That yes, there are people who are truly there, they have autism and they need to be dealt with. But every because we want to sell drugs and we want to sell treatment, we're identifying more and 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 more people with autism who may just be a little off. We have to have, because here we go, know your labels. We in this society have to have a label for everything. If you don't fit in this label, and if you don't fit in this spectrum, well, who are you? We have to make you fit. We have to make you fit. You know, I mean, I consider myself very fortunate in that I grew up in a time when we didn't have any such diagnosis as attention deficit disorder. Because I'd have been the first one, because a squirrel. I mean, I could not sit still. I was bored, I was bored to tears. I fit that spectrum. I could be diagnosed as ADHD today, but I refuse. I'm slightly dyslexic. I have been all my life. But I know about those things. Know your labels. Now, here's the thing that I have to say about Robert Kennedy Jr. and what I think that the universe wants us to say is that, look, he's bringing awareness to a situation that has been hidden in the dark way too long. We don't want to deal with mental health and behavioral health issues in this country. We have refused to do it. And so it's been swept under the rug. And if you have a child that's on the spectrum, you know that, how hard you have to fight. I have a dear, dear, dear friend of mine. I've known this woman for almost half a century, who's raising her grandson who is on the spectrum. And it's just difficult to get awareness, to get help, to have people know what's going on here. So can things go overboard? Yes, but is awareness being brought to these things? Yes, and while correlation doesn't equal causation, he is at least looking into some things that may be causing some of our children to have some issues. Like, civilized countries have banned food dyes, except we haven't. Is this part of it? I think that it is, because everything is connected. The things that we put into our bodies, the air that we breathe, and all those sorts of things are connected. Now, with some of these children, they're connected to a higher realm. Their vibration does not match the current vibration of the earth. When the earth's vibration reaches higher, then it will then they will then they will click in. They feel like they don't fit, and that's because they don't. We're trying to make them fit into the lower vibration. You talked about it earlier, how the earth's vibration is rising, and we've got to come from a place of love. So once we start become more aware of these things, and we see the divine spark in every being, including those who are on the autism spectrum, who are dealing with other behavioral health issues, who are dealing with addictions, and who are we're trying to deal with life, you know. Then when we can see the divine spark, then we can put our universal love into that person. We don't have to be tolerant of behaviors that are self-destructive, or behaviors that are destructive towards us. But we have to have a way to treat these people gently and humanely and help them out.
Wow.
So
Yes. Thank you so much. It has been so much wisdom spoken through your mouth today. If
I
you have
I
any
I can't
doubt,
I can't make this stuff up. I'm not that smart. I just open my mouth and stuff comes out, and sometimes I'm surprised at it. This comes from this comes from source, and as you started the podcast with, we all have that ability. We all do.
And you say that you're not that smart, but actually, you are a beautiful thought in the mind of God. So actually, you are not separated from the source of that wisdom that you're bringing. And I'm not, and anyone that is here on the planet Earth, we are all connected. So we are all one.
Yes,
And you
we
are
are.
part of it. So, yes, you are all that. Um, I can't thank you enough for all your wisdom here with us today. Do you have a departure message?
There are two energies only that that run this creation, and one is fear, and the other is love. And so we step out of fear and begin to live our life in love. It's just what we're to do, and it's
Oh,
if it was
yes.
easy, it isn't all that easy. Thank you so much. My website is really simple. It's Lee Osborne S with an S.com.
Oh, I think I
If you want
want
to
to
check that out.
show.
Yeah.
Oh, actually,
And I
almost
think you,
nobody knows it, but I was kicked out of the live, but I was able to get back in, and you were covering me when I
okay.
wasn't. So actually, I closed, but all the information to contact Lee is in the description of this video. Please go there, check him out. If you, he really can help you to answer so many questions. And recently, he helped me find out about another part of myself that I'm going to be talking about another time. And what is happening is every time that you learn more about yourself, we are always sparkle of divine light, but we have so many layers like an onion, and every time that you peel a layer, you get closer and closer to that light. And the way to peel those layers is really to bring awareness to yourself. As even the Bible say, the truth will set you free. And the divine truth is the one that undeniable, that you are really sure that's the one that's connected to your higher self, that's really tell who you truly are and what you are doing here. Thank, thank you, Lee. It was a pleasure to have you here today, and I hope to see you again. You
Oh,
are welcome
absolutely.
to come back, and that will be a pleasure to have more questions answered from the universe through you. And for you that is watching, you are welcome to come and ask your personal questions too, because there is no personal questions. We are all connected. Everybody, when you are asking a personal question, I guarantee you that at least 100 people will resonate with that same personal question. So your thoughts are not personal or private, because we are always sharing energy all the time. Thank you again, and see you next time. Okay.